is the Hot Zone. Engaging with the news in a whole new way, international war correspondent Chuck Holton brings insight into areas of crisis and lets you help those affected.
For more than 35 years, the internet hasn't stopped changing our lives in ways earlier generations could never have imagined. But for every benefit it brings, cyberspace also harbors a dark side, providing new frontiers for espionage, crime, and terror. Since the beginning, hackers have moved in and out of the shadowy dark web, exploiting networks for good and for ill. Their controversial sense of online ethics has led to their sometimes being called heroes and other times villains, depending on who is doing the reporting. A 26-year-old hacker who goes by the handle Whiskey Neon agreed to speak with us on camera, provided we obscure his true identity.
Would you consider yourself a white hat hacker or just a hacker?
There's different ways of defining that. I would consider myself gray hat, where I may break laws, but I don't do anything inherently malicious.
Do you see yourself as one of those guys that, look, I go out and break things so that people will fix them before somebody really gets hurt? You know, like the guy who took over an airplane recently, just to prove that to the FBI it can be done. You know, like
Right. Yeah, I hung out with him like a week after that happened, and so I kind of share that mindset. But at the end of the day, I'm scared to do what he did because look what happened to him.
Right.
He may not have gone to jail, but do you know about his company anymore? Because it's done.
Yeah.
So for me, I can go and I can show you this stuff. I might go give a talk about it. But if I actually go and say, hey, I'm able to prove this, there's this thing called responsible disclosure that you'll hear a lot from white hats. But in my experience, I've faced lawsuits, I've faced a lot of threats that it was just me trying to help.
Right.
I learned that lesson when I was under the age of 18, that going to a company, explaining how you own their entire company and trying to walk them through the process actually can get you in a lot of trouble.
The vulnerabilities are nearly endless, and not a day goes by when bad actors are not attacking U.S. systems. The 2016 election will go down in history as one of the most contentious and divisive of modern times, and now more than ever, ensuring the integrity of the system is absolutely vital to our notion of democracy.
What are the chances that the political process could be affected by hackers?
It already is. There's cases of manipulation around the globe. In Latin America, the president of Mexico, his election was completely rigged by hackers.
Is there a chance that it happened in the United States?
Oh, definitely. The idea with grassroots campaigning and using the grassroots, you want to have phone banks, right? One exploration of this idea is actually creating an account, which is a matter of nothing. You don't even have to really have a valid email address. You can make one up, and then once you're in, you are instantly shown voter data.
Yeah, we got their name, their address,
everything,
their affiliation.
And this alone could give me enough information where I can actually start targeting this person and potentially taking over their accounts. You know, we can actually go a step further and actually manipulate this data. So what you're looking at here is a debugger, and anyone can download this. Its intent is for web application developers to look at their programs and debug something that's wrong. Oh, my page doesn't load.
Right.
Let me use.
So you can see the source behind the page that you use.
Right. I'm basically intercepting everything that goes to my web browser, and I can look at it in a raw format. By accessing this information, as you can see, it gives me all of that voter data. So I can pull all this information. I can build my own database if I wanted to.
Okay. Is there digital information on here as far as like email or anything like that?
No, but that's what's known as open source intelligence. All I have to do is tie this information with online accounts.
Start cross-referencing.
Exactly. And then you have an online database that is a very solid, up-to-date, very expensive resource for information. This is up-to-date, very valuable data that the parties pay a hefty fee to acquire.
So if we're talking about moving to online voting,
Right.
What do you see as the dangers there?
Imagine in the case of whatever state, they're doing their phone banking, they're campaigning hard. I can actually make that candidate's phone bank think that, oh, they're going to vote for us.
They're doing great.
Or they're doing poorly. They look at polling data. That's cool. Phone banks are where they really get their analytical information.
So in reality, as you as just a hacker in your basement,
Right.
you could go in and manipulate these phone banks such that the campaign looking at the results of this is saying, we don't need to allocate as much money to this state because we've already got that one locked up.
Exactly.
And therefore, they're looking at false data.
Exactly.
So therefore, they end up losing the state that they might have actually won if they had put more resources there. This looks astoundingly simple.
And it is, actually. This took me maybe an hour to do. What I did, that's actually a felony. And I didn't do anything to actually manipulate it. The potential was there. I saw this vulnerability, but am I going to tell Hillary Clinton of all people that I can manipulate her campaign? Hell no, not in a million years.
The Chinese military is just one of several foreign countries reputed to be actively attempting to hack U.S. government institutions. In this nondescript white building in Shanghai, thousands of hackers go to work each day with one goal: to gain an advantage for their country. And there's no doubt they're taking no small interest in the U.S. presidential election.
So if you could do this, or if just somebody who wanted to give Hillary an edge or give Trump an edge could do it, what could China do? There's so much here that they could grab onto with, tens of thousands of hackers funded by the state. That's horrifying.
Yeah, and this is just on the phone bank. So imagine if we made that shift to, hey, we're gonna all vote online. How can we do that when the barrier to entry here is so low? And if we had online voting, I would definitely be looking into trying to hack that, because who wouldn't?
Of course, right? Everybody is going to be looking at that.
Exactly.
Right.
As we talked, I realized this problem is real. It's happening in this election, and it only serves to underscore how vital it is that each one of us lets nothing stand between us and our vote this year.
The Hot Zone is produced by Amy Holton and Livefire Media. Copyright 2019.